In this video, I started out with $0 in a truck and spent the last 3 years building the farm to where it is today. So we're back again for season 4 to see if I can expand the farm even more. But there's a twist. I took out a $250,000 loan. Will I go broke and have to sell everything? Or will I make it big? Stay tuned to find out. And if you guys want to see more content like this, be sure to subscribe and drop in a like helps too. Anyway, let's go do some farming. Well, boys, it's another day back out here on the farm. We got $34,000 in the bank account here, and harvest is about to be in full swing here. So last video, we ended up finishing silage harvest there. That's all good. That's done. Finished. We got all the equipment put away from that, but now we got to start up on some oats, and then soybeans should be ready pretty soon after that. We also have to do our second cut of hay, which, considering how long it took last time, I've been looking for a better way to do it. So over here at the cattle farm, in this shed, we got our stacker cruiser. Now, since we've decided we're no longer going to be doing a ton of small square bales, we'll do a few, but not that many. We're just not going to need the stacker cruiser anymore, and I have a guy interested in it, and he wants to trade for something, so he's on his way over here to come pick this up, and then we're going to go grab what we have traded for. But first, I got to check on the cattle quick, and it looks like they're going to need some water. Now, speaking of getting some water for these guys, we're changing up the water trailer a little bit. This thing's been working great, but frankly, it just doesn't have the capacity, especially since we're going to be getting more cattle over the winter. So, I made another trade deal down at the equipment store, and we're getting something a little older, a little less high-tech, but way bigger capacity. But we'll deal with that a little bit later. First, I gotta grab my new toy. All right, so I'm pretty sure the 4040 is gonna be the best option for this. Where we're going is just gonna be down the road here, so shouldn't take too long. Check it out, boys. This is my brand new to me John Deere Moco, and it looks like my stacker cruiser is gone. So yeah, deal's officially done, but let me explain a little bit about why I actually got this, since we already kind of have something to cut hay. So this right here is my John Deere swather. Now this is what we've been using to cut hay for the last little while now, and it's worked great. However, the cutting head on it isn't the greatest. We've had problems with it in the past, and frankly, you can't go very fast for what you should be able to go with a machine like this, since it's not a newer machine. This, however, is quite a bit newer, and you can go about 2 times faster. Not to mention, it's going to lay down a lot better of a cut. So this is what we're going to be using from here on out. I'm not sure what we're going to do with this. Maybe sell it? I'm not too sure yet. This baler, I think we're going to keep temporarily, at least for this year. However, enough about my new mower. We got some stuff to go do. So first order of business is to get this Mack out of where we parked it here. That's a little easier said than done. We got that sucker tucked right up in there. We got to move some tractors first. Now, somebody did say in the comments of the last video that we should probably get rid of a tractor because we really have too many of them. So if you guys have any suggestions as to what we should get rid of, let me know down in the comments. The only 2 tractors that stay for sure is the Versatile and the 4020. All right, the Max should be good there. Now, time to actually use my big new combine. So late spring, we ended up upgrading this thing from our original combine, which was honestly way too small. It was similar year to this, but this one is a way bigger model with a way bigger header. So by my calculations, it should make harvesting a lot faster. At least that's the hope. Not to mention, it also has a way bigger tank. However, I am thinking for this bean field, we are going to get some sort of a grain cart, because it is just so flippin' big. It's going to take absolutely forever to get to one end of the field and then back to the other if we want to be using the Mack truck there. So a grain cart might just help a little bit. Okay, so headlands are finished up here, and looks like we still have quite a bit of space left in here. Something we could never dream of with the old combine. So after making it over halfway through the field, the combine was finally full and it was time to dump. Now, since it was my first time using this new combine, I had no idea the tank capacity exactly, so I wasn't quite sure on how much it was going to fill up the truck. And considering oats was quite the heavy yielding crop, the fact that we had almost made it all the way through the field without having to empty the tank was pretty crazy. And after fully unloading the combine, the Max seemed to be about a quarter of the way full, if not more. And with an impending storm on the way, I got right back out in the field so we could finish before the rain. So with the last pass of the field now finished, we dumped the last of the oats in the Mack, and since prices were looking pretty good, we decided to take it in to see how much money we could get. And it turned out to be a pretty good decision, because we made $22,241, which brought us up to $56,000. So it was back to the farm to get back to working. Well, holy smokes, did we have a good yield on these oats. But now we got to deal with all this straw. And I was just listening to the radio, and it sounds like the storm that's coming is gonna be like really bad. Heavy winds, hail, rain, all sorts of nasty stuff that we definitely don't want on a bean crop that is just about to be ready. Now, from the looks of this crop, looking at the plants, calculating the acres, and what we possibly could make off this, it's looking to be about $150,000. And if this crop gets wrecked, we're pretty much screwed. Like, absolutely screwed. We have a $250,000 loan that needs to be paid by the end of the year, and if that gets wrecked, I don't know where we're going to find that $250,000. We might be able to pay off $150,000 to $200,000 max, but if that crop gets destroyed, I don't know where we're going to find that money. However, I can't worry about that at the moment. First, we got to deal with the straw, because if these strong winds come through, it's all going to blow away, and yeah, no more straw. And we need straw for the cattle. And then, as if there wasn't enough to do already, once we get all this straw baled up, we still have to pick up the bales, so those don't even blow away, and we got to get them into storage. So it's fixing to be a busy rest of the day. All right, so headlands are finished here, and holy smokes, are we getting a lot of bales. This crop just yielded insanely well. I guess all the extra fertilizer and spraying definitely helped. Now, obviously, in light of this big storm, we're not going to be doing any hay baling today. That's for sure. Not even going to lay down a cut, because if that all blows away, yeah, that's not a good deal. Now, the current hope is I get really lucky and don't end up getting hit with this big storm and nothing ends up happening. But we're going to be prepared just in case. All right, we are just about wrapping up the straw here. I think we might get one more bale out of this, and that's about it. But there's a lot here. A lot more than I thought there'd be. All right, looks like we got one extra bale out of all that. Went around and cleaned up all the little edges and little spots we missed. And it looks like after all that, we got about 22 bales. Not sure if that's better than last year. I can't remember off the top of my head. But at least we got all that finished finally. However, there's a lot more to do. I think we're going to use the 2950 here to load up all these bales. We're just going to use the gooseneck flat bed instead of the big old bale trailers, because there's not that many. I don't know if we're going to fit all of them on the one gooseneck there, but we can try. If it was just a little bit closer to the barn, it'd be worth just grabbing two at a time and taking them, but there's just too many. So we're just going to load them up on a trailer. Perfect. Looks like the 2950 can handle two. That'll work. We'll just whip on back here. Oh, yep, we're not going to worry about that. Grab our gooseneck. Oh, that's the ramps. I need a tailgate. Perfect. Man, I am just smacking everything today. To wonder how I keep stuff running around here. Okay, we'll get these all loaded up here. Shouldn't take too long, especially since we can do two at a time. I gotta say though, this grapple bucket, one of the most versatile things ever. You can plow snow with it, dig up some dirt, grab bales. It does tear them up a little more than the average bale spear would, but I don't see a problem with that, considering these are straw bales and they're just going to get tossed in the straw blower anyway, or just torn apart, so it wouldn't be too much of an issue. Now to see how many we can fit on a trailer. And it looks like we got ourselves a perfect load here. Actually worked out better than I expected. Well, another thing finished and out of the way before this storm comes around. Although I am going to bring this Moco inside, because we do need to do a little bit of work on it before we get it out in the fields here. So I am thinking, since we got way more than enough stuff going on today, we're just gonna toss this all in the shed on the trailer, so we don't really have to worry about anything else. We can move them a bit later if we want to, but for now I think they'll be okay. Now, one thing I completely forgot about is we're gonna need a feed mixer, since I got rid of my old small one, and that's not gonna be cheap. However, we do have a couple extra pieces of equipment we're not gonna be needing here, so we could probably do some sort of a trade or work out something from somebody. I'm not too sure yet. I am going to get some extra feed in here though. May as well get them all topped up. There we go. I'm just going to leave that unhooked in there. That should be okay for a little bit. And I'm thinking I'm going to get some of the more important equipment moved inside, since there's kind of trees everywhere out here. And if one decides it wants to come down and land on a piece of equipment, that's not exactly the greatest. Okay, last piece of equipment here is the combine. We're just going to stick this inside the shed. I really wish those beans were ready to go, because we just get the combine out there and get as much as we could harvested before that storm hit. But unfortunately, they're just not, so we're going to have to cross our fingers here and hope that that just doesn't happen. But there is just a couple more things I got to do here before the end of the day. So the cows need water here, but I just made a call down to the equipment dealer. He's got my new trailer ready, so we're going to go grab that real quick and just do a little trade-in. Then I can bring in the cows water. with a big tank and make it a lot easier so we're not having to make like 20 different trips with this small little tank. Okay, so I spent $200 here and got a truckload full of tires. These are old used tires. The only thing they're really good for is slapping on a silage pit so the plastic doesn't flap up, and with that storm coming, I definitely want to do that. Now, here's my new water trailer. It's a bit bigger, can hold a bit more water. Still got a pump on it. It's got dualies on the back, which is actually pretty cool. But this should help out a ton. So on our way back to the farm here, we're going to grab a load of water, get that to the cattle, and then we're going to go put all these flipping tires on the silage pit. There's a lot of tires here. This is ridiculous. Lucky for me, my neighbors still let me use his water tower, which is sweet. Definitely helps out. Okay, so we'll start that unloading. That should fill up the water trough a good amount. Now, we just got to figure out how we're going to get all these tires over these pits. I guess piles. I just back it up. Yeah, that kind of works. Might have to toss a few out. There we go. That's working. Okay, so now we got to get these things all up on the pits here. Should be a pretty easy deal. We'll just dump a couple up top so we're not having to lug them all the way up there. All right, that's looking pretty good. Couple tires on this one. I don't know if I'm gonna have enough for this one. We might have to space them out a little bit more. We'll try our best though. Well, I think that'll work. This one's a bit more covered by the shed, so we really shouldn't have to worry about it too much. This one's a bit more out in the open here, so probably worth tossing a couple extra tires on it. Well, I think that should about do it for the day. I think I got everything I need to done. This storm, it doesn't look like it now, but it should roll in here in the next half an hour or so. I'm gonna go run over to help my neighbor. He's got some stuff to do with his cows and his silage pits and a couple pieces of equipment there, so hopefully we can help him get everything done that he needs to. Anyways, hope you all enjoyed. Subscribe and goodbye.